Hey there, it's therapy and relaxation. Today, we're talking about building emotional resilience after trauma. Let's go. Trauma is an experience that shapes the human story in profound, often invisible ways. At its most basic, trauma refers to a deeply distressing or disturbing event, but its reality is far more nuanced. Trauma can be personal, arising from situations like childhood neglect, accidents, or loss. Alternatively, it may be rooted in collective experiences, natural disasters, war, pandemics, or systemic injustices that impact entire communities. No matter the form it takes, trauma leaves its imprint not just on our memories, but on our bodies, our minds, and our ways of relating to the world. The spectrum of trauma is vast, spanning from the acute shock of a car accident to the chronic stress of living in an unpredictable environment. Some people experience trauma in a single moment. For others, it is woven over time into the fabric of daily existence. Recognizing this diversity is vital, as it reminds us that everyone's experience and response to trauma are unique. Collective traumas, such as those experienced during war or a public health crisis, bind communities with shared pain. While personal traumas can feel isolating and deeply private, trauma's effects touch every part of a person's being, emotional, physical, and mental. On an emotional level, trauma can trigger powerful and persistent feelings of fear, helplessness, and vulnerability. Physically, the body may carry the stress of trauma through headaches, fatigue, muscle tension, or sleep disturbances. Mentally, trauma disrupts the ability to process thoughts clearly, focus on tasks, and remember details. This is because traumatic experiences can literally rewire the brain, altering how we perceive safety and danger, how we control impulses, and even how we trust others. Beyond these personal changes, trauma shapes our perception of the world. After a traumatic event, a once friendly environment may seem threatening. Everyday situations, loud noises, crowded spaces, certain scents, can trigger memories and bring back the emotions of the original trauma. Relationships, too, are often affected. Trust, intimacy, openness, and communication can become challenging. People may withdraw from loved ones or become hypervigilant, always scanning for potential threats. Even our ability to cope with routine stress is changed. Small upsets might feel overwhelming, and previously manageable tasks can become sources of dread or anxiety. Navigating the complex emotions that follow trauma is both challenging and essential. Anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, and guilt are some of the most common emotional responses. Each of these emotions exists on a spectrum, from fleeting moments to sustained, overwhelming floods. Anxiety often emerges as a sense of persistent unease or restlessness, while fear might manifest as constant worry about safety. Anger, sometimes directed inward as self-blame or outward as irritability, is another typical reaction. Sadness and grief go hand in hand, especially when there has been a tangible loss. Lastly, guilt can creep in, especially for survivors who wonder what they could have done differently. It isn't uncommon to experience emotional flooding, where these feelings become so intense they seem to sweep everything else away. During such moments, it can be hard to think clearly or make decisions, as the mind is consumed by emotion. Recognizing this response is key to regaining a sense of balance. Strategies like grounding exercises, paying close attention to sensations in the body, the feeling of feet on the ground, or the rhythm of the breath, can create a small but essential distance from overwhelming emotions. Giving oneself permission to pause and slow down, even briefly, interrupts the flow of emotional intensity. At the heart of healing is the practice of self-compassion and acceptance. Trauma survivors often judge themselves harshly, believing they should be over it by now, or blaming themselves for what happened. But healing doesn't follow a straight line. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a loved one in pain. It's acknowledging that suffering is part of the human experience and allowing yourself to feel and respond with understanding, rather than criticism. Acceptance does not mean resignation or approval of what happened. Rather, It's the courageous act of acknowledging the pain, allowing it space, and knowing that the journey to healing is uniquely yours. Developing emotional resilience is a critical part of recovering from trauma. Resilience is the ability to bend but not break, to adapt in the face of hardship. Building resilience means developing tools to manage stress and to respond, rather than react, to triggers from the past. The first step is cultivating healthy coping mechanisms. Mindfulness practices, for example, teach us to anchor attention in the present moment, noticing thoughts and emotions without judgment. Just a few minutes spent focusing on the breath, performing a body scan, or observing the world around you can help restore calmness and clarity. Grounding techniques are especially invaluable for managing triggers. These might include naming 5 things you see and hear in your environment, holding a comforting object, or moving your body in gentle, deliberate ways. Journaling is another powerful strategy. Writing about thoughts and feelings provides an outlet for expression and can uncover patterns and insights that support healing. Journaling doesn't have to be structured. Free writing, drawing, or even jotting down a few words each day can make a difference. Connection is another cornerstone of resilience. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. Trusted friends, supportive family, peer support groups, and mental health professionals can offer understanding and validation. Whether by sharing your story or simply sitting in the presence of others, connection can help dissolve shame and remind us that we are not alone in our struggles. For many, professional therapists provide a safe, structured space to explore pain, process experiences, and develop coping skills tailored to individual needs. Evidence-based therapies play a vital role in the journey of recovery. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is widely used and helps people reframe unhelpful thoughts and build healthier patterns of thinking and behavior. Trauma-informed care recognizes the far-reaching impact of trauma and ensures that healing environments are built on safety, trust, and empowerment. Therapeutic modalities such as eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, somatic therapies, and group work also offer paths toward integrating traumatic experiences and reducing their hold over daily life. Self-care is equally important in nurturing emotional resilience. Prioritizing the basics, adequate sleep, nourishing meals, regular physical movement, and moments of relaxation, creates a foundation for healing. Physical activity, whether it's walking, yoga, or dancing, helps release tension and produces endorphins that boost mood. Attention to nutrition fuels both body and mind. Sleep hygiene, including a calming bedtime routine and limiting screen time before rest, supports emotional stability. Acts of self-care are not indulgences, but true necessities on the path of recovery. Through all of this, it's important to remember that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. The process of healing from trauma is complex, and sometimes professional guidance is necessary. Therapists are trained to support individuals as they work through painful memories, develop coping strategies, and foster self-understanding. Beyond recovery, there lies the possibility not only to heal, but to thrive. The concept of post-traumatic growth describes how some individuals, through the process of healing, discover new strengths, deeper relationships, or a renewed appreciation for life. Transformation does not erase the pain of trauma, but it can create new meaning, purpose, and direction. People who have walked through the fires of trauma often emerge with greater empathy, resilience, and wisdom. Inspirational stories from those who have navigated their own healing journeys abound. People who once felt defined or diminished by their pain have found ways to channel their experiences into advocacy, creativity, and connection. Some become mentors, offering hope to others still in the depths of struggle. Others find healing in small daily victories, reclaiming joy, laughter, or simple pleasures once lost. Fostering hope is essential. Healing from trauma is not about forgetting what happened, but about reclaiming control, building inner resources, and moving forward at your own pace. Even on the darkest days, the human capacity for resilience endures. By embracing self-compassion, seeking support, and holding space for healing to unfold, you can nurture hope and optimism for the future. Every journey is unique, shaped by personal history, circumstances, and support. But across all stories, one truth remains. Strength can be found even in the aftermath of trauma. With time, patience, and care, it is possible not only to survive, but to thrive, living with a renewed sense of possibility, deeper connections, and an unwavering belief in your own capacity to heal. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe us and check out therapyandrelaxation.com for more. See you tomorrow.